beautiful scrappy friends. How are you tonight? Well, it's night for me. So I have this nice layout for you today, and it's a picture of my two daughters from a long time ago. So my printer, I kind of messed it up and I jammed it. So I need to do pictures of my girls and or my kids and of old pictures that I have. So that's kind of like my goal right now is to do a whole bunch of layouts with old pictures, since I have a lot of old pictures printed out from like a long time ago. So I need to use those up, and I can use them while, wow, sorry guys, I got distracted because I looked at the video thing playing and it seemed like it's going slower. Anyway, it's not really, I don't think. I think it's just taking me a long time to pick out which papers I want. So I'm trying to decide what I want to put the border at, because I'm using that Maggie Holmes paper in the background, and I really liked that bokeh color. And so I had a piece left over a paper that I played around with some watercolors, and I added salt to it. And so after the salt dries, and pretty much you got to let it dry overnight. So you want the whole paper to be wet from your watercolors. So you add water, you add the watercolor, you just kind of let it drip, slide, and you want lots and lots of water. It probably works excellent on gesso. So that's going to be my next thing to try, is to do it with gelatos and gesso, because I just got some gelatos and some gesso, and I've kind of been playing around a little bit, and oh my gosh, it's so much fun. So I can't wait to show you guys some stuff that I'll be doing with that stuff when I really get doing a layout with it. So but yeah, so it has to be really wet, and then you put, so you know, watercolor, and as you can see, I didn't really have a plan. I was just doing different colors, and then you kind of let it drip into each other, and then you add the salt when it's really wet, because you want it pretty wet, because you want the salt to like soak in and everything. And then when it dries, you can see, and I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera, so I wish I had a better camera to show you guys, but as it dries, some spots get more crystally, so you can see the crystals of the salt. And so when it dries, you have to wipe all the salt off, obviously, because you don't want to, because some of it doesn't, like, some of it absorbs like into the paper, and so it changes the texture. I did use glossy accents on my papers onto that one paper, because I didn't know how well it was going to stick just by using the ATG. The ATG is decently sticky, but I find that sometimes if there's a lot of texture, it has a harder time gripping. And with the salt, I know that it's not anywhere near archival, so I figured that, you know, using the ATG probably just wasn't really going to help anyway. So I had a while ago used those circles. I drew those circles with watercolor, and I'm just putting them in, you know, layering them. I've kind of been doing a lot of stuff like that lately anyway. Here I decide, because I had used my stencil with some watercolors and different types of stuff on that orange, I sprayed it, and then with my mists, and then I used a watercolor with the stencil. And so I'm just kind of playing around, seeing if I want to do like circles in there. And I only do one, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like it, and I didn't want to ruin it, because I only had a little bit of paper. And that paper that I just used an old piece of paper that I had that was one-sided, because not all companies make one-sided now. Sometimes I think American Crafts, if you get their bigger pads, it's one-sided, but I'm not positive on that, so don't quote me on it. But so, and I want some texture. But also, before I forget, because I will forget if I don't tell you right now, I used a sketch for this, because I just wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. And because I haven't been scrapping as consistently this past week and a half to 2 weeks, I kind of wanted to go with a sketch just because I wasn't sure about placement. And that's what I do. And I find that that helps kind of take the stress away so I can play with stuff, but not have to worry about, oh, where things go. And then I can change it how I want to. So I use a Creative Scrappers sketch, and I really like a lot of their sketches. They have so many sketches and they print off really nice, which is what I do. I usually print them off. I mean, sometimes I'll put them on my iPhone or my iPad or my phone. I don't have an iPhone. My iPad and my cell phone, but I don't like doing that because I don't like to keep my cell phone on. It'll like lose power like crazy. So, and I like looking at a paper copy. That's just how I am. So I don't think I showed the sketch in here, but it's sketch number 18. I will put their website, because it's creativescrappers.blogspot.com, and I'll put their website down in the description, so you can go there and you can look it up. But I mean, it's pretty simple. It just has layers, and I didn't do as big of layers, and it had like a tag or something, and so I used a strip of the border strip from the Schmel line, and then I used a tag that I had. It's just a Martha Stewart tag. I got a set of Martha Stewart like tags. I got those like when I first started scrapping, you know, to use for embellishments, and I just use my watercolors on it. So I played, that's my kid's hand. I started this during the day, and so it actually kind of, I started it partly during the day, but then I had to go and do dinner. So I put those on Pop Dots, and then I just used embroidery floss. That's what I use. I have a whole bunch from when I was a teenager. I used to do lots of different, like, make necklaces and stuff and bracelets, and I used to do lots of jewelry type, like, not great jewelry, but I used to do stuff like that. So it's like, I think I've always been somewhat crafty, but I never could find something that I could stick. It's like I used to try to draw, but I just don't have the patience for it. Sorry about my head. You can see my head a few times in this. So I decided to use that pink paper, and that paper is from Good Day Sunshine, and they have a line that goes along with their packs that have just different colors. So they had like pink, they had a green, and they all go with the colors. They match with the colors, so you could use them as backgrounds, which I really liked. And the other side the pink was like an ombre effect. So that paper right there is from Park Bench, and that is Fancy Pants, and that I think was from last year. And the blue dotted paper right there that I'm gonna cut, that is from My Mind's Eye, The Sweetest Thing. And that's the bluebell part of their collection, because they have, you know, all the different types of like branches off of their collections, which is kind of nice, because if you like, they'll have different color, like a major color in each different line, but they all go together. So I really like that. It had a lot of blues, and some of them were watercolor. There was a lot of flowers. It kind of was flower overload, and I like flowers, but sometimes it's hard. So I outlined the bokeh paper, and I outlined this. I don't outline everything, but I use a Pilot silver marker, and it's like those, I don't know, it's like you have to shake it. So you have to be really careful. You have to keep the top on, because I did that before. I shook it and it went all over without the top on, but you shake it, and then as you press down, it like starts flowing out. So it's nice. I just don't use it that much because I don't always like silver. I'm more of a gold person, but I haven't found a really nice gold pen that I like. So here I am, and this is later, which is why there's extra stuff. So I pulled out that tag that was, oh, what is that? It was from our my Scraptastic kit in July, I believe. And they had, yeah, I think it's Ellie, I don't know. The one company that sells mostly tags. Is that? I'm not sure what it is, so I'm not even going to try. But there are a lot of those greeny and blues colors, and I liked just how the colors, I wanted a different variety of colors. So, and I'm trying to get not just circles. So now I'm trying to add, and I have that ampersand there, and I'm going to put something over it because I don't like the pale pink. And that was a printable that I found online, like I think through Pinterest or something. I was looking for like printable, like free printables, and so I don't even know what website it was from, so I'm sorry that I can't like give them credit, but there are tons of, like, for a while that's what I would look at, was looking for like things that I could print off that I could cut apart and use as embellishments, just to kind of save money. But it doesn't really save money because you have to use your printer. So I don't know. I've been trying to find different ways to make embellishments because I go through those ephemera packs like crazy unless it has stuff that I don't really care for and it doesn't match. So here I'm looking just to see what I can fit where, what's going to look good. Oh yeah, I use that. That's from the same company that did that top one. So, and it says top favorites. And I'm just trying to layer things. I wanted to use that, and it says, what, you are my greatest adventure. And I mean, it fits perfect because, you know, with your kids, you love your kids. But I decided to go with this printable Heidi Swapp. I think that's Heidi Swapp. On her website, each month she has free printable stuff. And that was from a while ago that I printed off. So if you go to Heidi Swapp, her blog, you can find free printables there. And she has some nice stuff, you know, and if you can use cardstock. I think I like to use the matte paper. So it's not the same as, it's not the glossy paper, but you can get the matte paper in the 8 by like 11.5 or whatever. So I kind of like to use those for the printables. They're a little bit thicker, so it kind of resembles more of like that cardstock you feel, but it's a little bit lighter than the cardstock. So you don't have to cut it. I think that's part of it is, you know, I mean, unless I went out and got the 8 book, but yeah, I guess I could do that, but I don't. So here I'm journaling and I'm talking about how this picture, because I haven't even told you about my picture, and I'm already 13 minutes in, and this isn't as long of a video. It's like 19 minutes. That is, I believe that is the day that I first came home with my daughter, Kaden, and she's my middle child. And so my oldest, Leilani, she was excited, well, sort of excited that I came home. But when she noticed that there was a baby with me, she was like, oh, okay. But so I was like, hey, you want to hold her? And she loved baby dolls at this point in her age. She's a little, like 18.5 months or 19 months. So here, and, or maybe she's something like that. I was going to say 17 months. She might have been 17 months. I think she was 17 months, but so she's a year and a half. So she's that age that little girls play with baby dolls. And so we sat her on the couch and she held her sister. And, you know, after like 2 seconds, she was like, okay, I'm done. But that really helped her warm up because at first when she seen her sister, she was like, oh. And then she didn't want anything to do with mommy because I had a baby. But once she held her, then she was a lot better. And so it was really cute, and it's one of those moments that, and she didn't get to come to the hospital to visit me because the hospital that I was in was about an hour or so away, and it was the winter time, so there's lots of snow because I was in New York, in upstate New York. And so I had, you know, my parents had to drive out to see me. And I mean, I was only in the hospital for 1 day and I didn't really want to stay. They were like, don't you want to stay longer? And I was like, no, I want to get home. I was like, you can rest better at home than in the hospital. So Of course, I ended up having to bring my daughter back because I don't know if you can tell, but she is pretty yellow in here. So she ended up, and it's February, so there's not a lot of sun, and a lot of babies end up with jaundice. So, but it was a special and sweet moment, and I really wanted, since I had the picture already printed, to get it out. So I used these yo-yo stickers, and I'm trying to think what else I used. That card that I journaled on was from, oh, I don't even remember what company it's from, but it was from my Scraptastic kit from this month. So, and it had the cut about heart, and I thought that worked out good. And that circle that I drew on with the marker, I cut into an arrow because I didn't like it that much. And then I used the cork paper from Chamel, or the cork stickers from Chamel, and it says Fab. And I really like the texture. It just kind of gives it a little pop. And so I decided to put the title above. In the sketch, it was over to the right. But I just really thought that I really like that open space and to be able to see the paper. So here I am having to get up. My messy hair. I suppose it could be worse. But so it says sister bonding, and I used the pink snap Simple Stories snap letters just because I like that size. It's really nice. The only thing is they don't stick down that great, so hopefully I won't have to fix it later. They move around pretty easy. I'm trying to think what else I put. Oh yeah, I also used the Chamel Celebrate sticker from her sticker book. So in here I'm just adding the word amaze, and that's in a pink color, and it matches really good with that orangey and pink color from the circle up above in it. And so I'm almost done. I just do a little bit of doodling. Up in the right hand corner I doodled some 3 hearts, and then down at the bottom I did 2, and then I don't think I did it here, but I end up doing some hearts near the tag that I put in. And I did put February 2010. I'm not sure if it's the day that we brought her home, but I'm pretty sure it is. So that's what I journaled about, because pretty much any time that she held her sister, it was, you know, at the beginning. And I know this was pretty close to the beginning. So, but, so here, oh yeah, I'm just looking to see if I have any. Oh yeah, I forgot that I used the wood veneer from this month's kit, and I colored it with my marker. And then I used that silver marker. I kind of get it wet a little bit to see if I can, like, you know, blend it a little better. It didn't work that good, but it doesn't look too bad now that it's dry. It kind of goes along with the whole that artsy stuff. But I flipped it over because I didn't like it. Says Bop on it, and that, I don't know. My kids are kind of young to play video games. I mean, they do like some other stuff. So here I'm outlining. I decided to outline. Even though in real life I think that pink on pink looked pretty good, I did want it to pop just a little, and I end up on the inside of it using my pink, or my corally, whatever color it is from the Chamel pen. It's like a pinky coral type of color. So I just use it to kind of fill in and just kind of do a little bit of more artsy stuff. So I'm pretty much done. That's what I'm doing right now, which is why you can see most of my head. And there will be lots of close-ups. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and watching my videos and giving me lovely feedback. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing more comments again. I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.